All right, strap in everyone, because today we're diving deep into the world of Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
But not the Twitter stuff, no. We're going beyond the headlines.
Yeah.
And exploring the success habits that have made him, well, kind of a legend.
Yeah, he's definitely a fascinating figure to study.
We've got a treasure trove of sources for this deep dive. Articles breaking down his business strategies, excerpts from his Wikipedia page, which is a journey in itself.
It really is.
And even snippets from podcasts where Musk himself drops some serious knowledge bombs. So our mission today is to figure out, what can we actually take away from all this? What can we apply to our own lives? Whether we're starting a business, tackling a tough project, or just trying to level up our game.
What's interesting about Musk is that he embodies this relentless drive for achievement, but he often does it in ways that go against conventional wisdom.
Totally. And that's what makes him so intriguing. His approach to multitasking, isn't that supposed to be the ultimate productivity killer?
It can be, for sure, if you're just juggling tasks without any real focus. But Musk's secret is mindful multitasking. He's laser-focused on tasks that require his specific expertise. And then he delegates or automates everything else.
So it's about knowing where your superpower lies, and then building a system to amplify it. That makes a lot of sense. But what about all the advice we hear about seeking positive feedback? Musk seems to do the opposite.
He's actually a huge believer in actively seeking out negative feedback. There's an example in the article, 6 Success Habits of Elon Musk You Can Apply Today in Your Business, where he talks about this.
Interesting.
It's not about beating yourself up. It's about ruthlessly identifying areas where you can improve. It's like having a coach who's not afraid to point out your blind spots.
Ouch, but effective. It reminds me of that quote, the greatest enemy of good is better.
Exactly. Musk embodies that. And it ties into his philosophy of constant iteration and refinement. He's never satisfied with good enough. He's always striving for perfection by fixing what's wrong.
So we've got this hyper-focused multitasking and an appetite for criticism, which is pretty counterintuitive. What else fuels the Musk's success machine?
Well, he's a master of time management, but not in the traditional sense of scheduling every minute.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound very Elon.
He relies on something called first principles thinking.
Okay, I've heard that term, but what does it actually mean in practice?
It's about stripping away assumptions, breaking problems down to their fundamental truths. Instead of just copying what everyone else has done, you ask, what are the basic building blocks of this problem? Then you can innovate in ways others haven't even thought of.
So instead of just building another smartphone, you ask, what are the essential elements of communication?
Precisely. That's how SpaceX was able to develop reusable rockets. Instead of accepting that rockets are disposable, they asked, what are the core physics involved in launching and landing? And they built from there.
And boom, they landed the first stage of a Falcon 9 on a land platform back in 2015. And they've continued to land them on autonomous spaceport drone ships ever since. It's mind-blowing.
It really shows the power of first principles thinking. And we see the same approach with Tesla's AI development. Musk insists on rigorous testing against what he calls the ground truth of reality, meaning the unshakable laws of physics and math. It's not about cutting corners, it's about building on a solid foundation.
So we've got the focused multitasking, the hunger for criticism, and this first principles problem solving. But how does he get people on board with these massive, seemingly impossible visions?
That's where his leadership style comes in. He's a master of articulating bold, ambitious visions that inspire both himself and others. And these visions aren't about building a personal empire. They're about tackling grand challenges that face humanity.
Like colonizing Mars with SpaceX, or revolutionizing transportation with Tesla.
Exactly. And these visions often start small. Like, his initial goal with SpaceX was simply to inspire space travel, which then evolved into their much larger aspirations. There's a great example in the powerful habits of the insanely wealthy YouTube video about how he chose the names Tesla and SpaceX. He's not interested in self-promotion. It's about the mission.
So it's less about look at me, and more about look at what we can achieve together. That's pretty powerful.
It is. And it's worth noting that even with this focus on achieving the seemingly impossible, Musk has a healthy relationship with failure.
Well, I was going to say, nobody's perfect, especially when you're pushing boundaries like he does.
Right. He views failure as a natural part of the learning process. Instead of fearing it, he extracts valuable lessons from it and uses those to iterate and improve.
There's that constant refinement idea again. He seems to approach everything as a work in progress, even his own failures.
Exactly, like his involvement in the Tom Luong cave rescue. The mini submarine he developed wasn't ultimately used, but it was a testament to his willingness to try something bold, even if it didn't work perfectly.
It's like that saying, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
I think Musk would probably say, shoot for Mars, analyze why your rocket trajectory was off, and try again.
Huh.
There's a great story in the Lex Fridman podcast where he compares learning from business failures to studying war history. It's about understanding the why behind the outcome, not just accepting one side's narrative.
So it's like turning failures into data points for future success. I like that. Okay, so we've covered a lot already. We've got this intense focus, a hunger for criticism, a unique approach to problem solving, and a leadership style built on inspiring visions. But isn't all of this incredibly draining?
It certainly raises the question of work-life balance. While Musk admits to often sleeping in the office, he also emphasizes the importance of finding time for things he enjoys. Like, he's a self-proclaimed video game enthusiast, especially Diablo 4.
I bet that surprises some people. Like, wait, even Elon Musk needs downtime.
Right, but it highlights a crucial point. Even with his crazy schedule, he recognizes the importance of recharging. In that same BBC interview where he mentions sleeping in the Twitter HQ library, he goes into detail about his strategy for defeating Uber Lilith in Diablo 4.
It's like a glimpse into his human side. He's not just a productivity robot.
Yeah.
There's a real person under there who needs to unwind, just like all of us.
Exactly. And this brings us to an interesting question. How do you reconcile his incredible achievements with the fact that he needs to carve out time for himself? Does that make his approach more attainable or even more daunting?
That's a great question, and I think it's one that each listener needs to answer for themselves. What aspects of Musk's approach resonate with you, and what feels a bit too extreme?
Absolutely. As we continue this deep dive, we'll explore some of the more challenging aspects of his personality and business practices, so you can weigh the pros and cons for yourself. But for now, let's pause and let that question sink in. Welcome back to our deep dive into the success habits of Elon Musk.
It's great to be back. We just talked about some of Musk's core principles. Mindful, multitasking, seeking negative feedback, that whole first principles thinking thing. But let's be real, there's another side to this story, right?
Absolutely. He's a fascinating figure, but definitely not without his critics. And while we can learn from his accomplishments, it's important to acknowledge the potential downsides of his approach. For example, his intense drive has led to accusations of pushing employees too hard, creating a demanding, sometimes unsustainable work environment.
Yeah, the whole sleeping at the factory thing probably isn't the healthiest habit for most people.
Exactly. While Musk emphasizes balance in his own life, his definition of balance might not be for everyone. It's a reminder that we need to be critical thinkers and adapt these insights to our own lives, not just blindly copy them.
So it's about taking the principles that resonate with us and leaving the rest behind. Kind of like a pick-and-choose success buffet.
Exactly. And another area where Musk walks a fine line is his communication style. He's known for being impulsive and provocative, especially on social media.
Yeah, remember that BBC interview where he got a bit defensive about Twitter's policies?
Exactly. And this tendency to shoot from the hip has gotten him into trouble in the past. His Wikipedia page even mentions a defamation lawsuit stemming from accusations he made against a British cave diver.
Wow, so even someone as successful as Elon Musk can stumble when it comes to communication. It's a good reminder that words have power, especially when you have a platform.
Absolutely. And to his credit, Musk seems to recognize this. In the Lex Fridman podcast, he jokes about avoiding tweets after 3 a.m., implying that those late-night thoughts don't always represent his best judgment.
So even he has to practice self-restraint. But let's shift gears a bit. One thing you can't deny is Musk's ability to bounce back from setbacks. He's had his fair share of failures, but he always seems to come back stronger.
That's a crucial part of his success story. He embodies this idea of resilience and determination. There's a quote from one of the articles we read that perfectly captures this. Elon Musk does not fear failure or avoid risks. He embraces failure as an opportunity to learn, improve, and iterate. He adopts a growth mindset that views failure as feedback.
It's like that saying, fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Exactly. And this ties into his willingness to challenge the status quo and think outside the box. We saw this with his first principles approach. But it goes beyond that. He's not afraid to go against conventional wisdom, even when others say it's impossible.
Like when he started Tesla, and everyone thought electric cars were a pipe dream.
Exactly. He believed in the potential of electric cars and wasn't deterred by the skeptics. And that unwavering belief, coupled with his innovative engineering, led to Tesla's incredible success.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come from challenging assumptions.
Right.
And pushing the boundaries of what's considered possible.
Absolutely. And this feeds into another one of Musk's key habits, that relentless drive for improvement and innovation. He's constantly pushing himself and his companies to do better, to be faster, more efficient.
And it's not just about work, right? He seems to approach personal development the same way.
Exactly. There's a quote that stood out to me from one of the articles. Learn new skills and keep improving yourself. Successful people are lifelong learners who constantly seek new knowledge and skills that can help them grow and improve.
So it's about embracing a growth mindset, always seeking to learn and expand our horizons. I like that. It's like that saying, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying.
Well, I don't know about dying, but it definitely stunts your growth. And this ties into Musk's emphasis on staying motivated and positive. He understands that maintaining a positive attitude is crucial for overcoming challenges and achieving ambitious goals.
There's another great quote that highlights this. Stay motivated and positive. Successful people are motivated, and positive people who have a strong sense of purpose and vision for their work. They are passionate about what they do and enjoy the process as well as the outcome.
It's a great reminder that passion and purpose fuel our drive and keep us going even when things get tough.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this segment. We've talked about the potential downsides of Musk's approach, his incredible resilience in the face of challenges, his willingness to challenge the status quo, his relentless drive for improvement, and the importance of staying motivated and positive.
And there's one more crucial element we need to touch upon again before we move on. First principles thinking.
We talked about it earlier,
Yeah.
but I'm still a bit fuzzy on how to actually apply it in my own life.
It's a powerful tool for problem solving and decision making. Remember, it's about breaking down complex issues into their fundamental truths.
So instead of accepting things at face value, I should be asking why more often.
Exactly. Challenge assumptions, dig deeper, and seek out the underlying principles at play. It can be applied to anything, from personal beliefs to how you approach your work.
So if I'm facing a challenge at work, instead of jumping to a solution, I should take a step back and ask, what are the core principles here? What are the fundamental truths that I can build upon?
Precisely. And by thinking this way, you can unlock innovative and creative solutions that you might not have otherwise considered.
This has been an incredibly insightful exploration of Elon Musk's success habits. We've uncovered a wealth of practical takeaways, from his unconventional approach to time management and problem solving, to his relentless pursuit of innovation, and his emphasis on staying positive.
We've also grappled with the more complex aspects of his personality and business practices, recognizing the importance of critical thinking as we consider what to adopt and what to leave behind.
But there's one burning question I still have. Are there any specific resources you recommend for diving deeper into these ideas and developing my own Elon Musk-inspired success habits?
Absolutely. One resource that stands out is Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk. It's a comprehensive and nuanced look at his life and work, exploring his childhood, his entrepreneurial journey, his successes and failures, his relationships, and his motivations. It really helps you understand not just what he does, but why he does it.
That sounds like a must-read for anyone fascinated by Musk's story.
For a quicker dose of insights, his interviews on podcasts like Lex Fridman's are packed with valuable information. And for those looking to develop their first principles thinking and problem-solving skills, I highly recommend Superintelligence, Paths, Dangers, Strategies by Nick Bostrom.
I've heard great things about that one.
It's a thought-provoking exploration of artificial intelligence, but it also delves into the importance of clear thinking and rigorous analysis. It pairs perfectly with our Musk deep dive.
Okay, that's going on my reading list.
Finally, check out the work of Ray Kurzweil, a renowned futurist and inventor. His writings on artificial intelligence, technological singularity, and the future of humanity will expand your perspective and help you consider the long-term implications of the innovations Musk is driving.
Wow, thanks for all the recommendations. I'm feeling inspired to learn more.
And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, remember that while we can learn a lot from studying successful people like Elon Musk, true success is ultimately defined by our own values, goals, and aspirations.
That's a great point. It's not about mimicking someone else's path,
Yeah,
but about forging our own unique journey.
exactly. As we head into the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore how to take these lessons and apply them to our own lives in a way that aligns with our own values and aspirations.
This has been an amazing journey so far. I'm excited to see where we go from here. But for now, let's leave our listeners with this question. How can you incorporate these insights into your own life and work? while staying true to your own unique path and purpose. Think about it, and we'll continue our exploration in the next and final part of our deep dive. All right, we're in the home stretch of our Elon Musk deep dives. We've broken down his habits, explored his wins and losses, even got some book recommendations. But now for the big question. What do we do with all this?
Right, that's the key, isn't it? We've deconstructed the Musk method.
Yeah.
But how do we actually apply it to our own lives
Yeah.
without becoming, Twitter-obsessed workaholics?
Exactly. Because, let's face it, not everyone's built to sleep in the factory, even if it means getting to play Diablo 4 on your lunch break.
Definitely not. There's no one-size-fits-all formula here. Musk's story is inspiring, sure, but it's not a blueprint to be copied exactly.
So it's about taking those nuggets of wisdom and figuring out what works for us in our own unique situations.
Absolutely. And if there's one big takeaway from this whole deep dive, it's the power of first principles thinking. We've seen how Musk uses it to tackle everything, from rocket science to electric cars. But it's not just for tech geniuses, right?
That's what I'm wondering. How can I, someone who can barely program their DVR, use this first principles thing in my everyday life?
It starts with asking why more often. Don't just take things at face value. Dig deeper, challenge those assumptions we all have, and try to get to the core of what's really going on.
So it's like being a detective, but for problems instead of crimes.
I like that analogy. And once you start thinking this way, you'll be surprised at the creative solutions you come up with.
Okay, feeling more empowered already. But what about those big, ambitious goals? Musk seems to thrive on them, but most of us are just trying to, survive the week without losing it.
Right, but that's where it gets interesting. We might not be colonizing Mars anytime soon, but we can still learn from Musk's ambition. It's about setting goals that stretch us, that make us a little uncomfortable, even if they seem impossible at first.
So instead of just aiming to clean up my inbox, maybe I should set a goal to launch a side hustle that I'm actually passionate about.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to dream big. It's those ambitious goals that fuel our growth and push us to achieve things we never thought possible.
And of course, we can't forget about resilience. Musk's journey has been full of setbacks and failures, but he never seems to give up. That's got to be a key part of his success, right?
Absolutely. Success is rarely a straight line. There will always be bumps in the road. But it's our ability to bounce back, learn from those mistakes, and keep going that really matters.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about developing that grit, that I'm not giving up attitude.
Exactly. And this goes hand in hand with developing a growth mindset. Remember how Musk sees failure as feedback, a chance to learn and improve. That's something we can all cultivate.
It's like that saying, every master was once a disaster. We have to embrace those messy learning phases.
I love that. And finally, let's not forget about balance. Even Musk, with his insane work ethic, makes time for things he enjoys. It's a reminder that we need to take care of ourselves, physically and mentally, if we want to achieve sustainable success.
So it's not about burning ourselves out. It's about finding a rhythm that allows us to pursue our goals without sacrificing our well-being.
Well said. It's about finding that sweet spot between ambition and balance, between pushing ourselves and knowing when to take a break.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey. We've learned so much about Elon Musk, his unconventional ways, and the lessons we can apply to our own lives.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. While Musk's story is amazing, your journey is just as important. Take what you've learned, adapt it to your own life, and create your own definition of success.
That's a great point. It's not about copying someone else's path. It's about creating our own. So to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Elon Musk. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and maybe even a little inspiration to fuel your own journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.